Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava also joining us on the show. Air Vice Marshal, I think very important, piecing together of what's transpired since late last night, and that is, it does look like there is a volley of attacks on India to also test India's air defense preparedness. Could this mean that more serious equipments could be used perhaps in a day or two to come? Is this an attempt by Pakistan to divert India to something that could be brewing perhaps much larger from what we have seen since yesterday, sir? Has Pakistan effectively used all its air equipments, or the more serious are still in its kitty and it's still yet to test it out?
So, Shweta, I'm totally in agreement with the Air Marshal who just spoke about our multi-layer defense system, where strategic layer is there, which goes from 150 to 400 plus. And then we have 40 to 150 kind of layer with different equipment. And then we have layers which are below 40 kilometers, then close-in weapon systems. So these are the multi-layered things. And of course, we take care of ballistic missile defense too in the strategic layer. Coming to the capability of the enemy, and when you dovetail this with the kind of satellite or space assets we have for radar intelligence, for EM intelligence, for communication intelligence, for imagery intelligence, so all that together makes a system of our way of tracking what goes on from the enemy side, what is their plot, in terms of their the order of tank, what we call order of battle in terms of tanks, troops concentrations, aircraft concentrations, airfield. They are all known to us. We know. And this attempt which was done by the Pakistan is with the swarm drones. Swarm drones can be engaged by, there are many methods which are non-kinetic methods. Like we now also have directed energy weapons, which is something like laser guns you see in Star Wars. So they can also be deployed and they're ready and available. So idea being, the idea of air defense network with the on the Indian side is very robust, and it can take care of from smallest to highest level. But Air Marshal brought it out very correctly and I think very aptly, that it is the cost of engagement. If I'm going to shoot down a very low priced item with a very high priced missile, it's not the real thing to do. But we can engage at various levels. That is for assuring the country, and specific details, of course, we will not be talking at this point of time. Coming to the side of Pakistan. Pakistan, we have tested in many ways. Their air defense there is very weak. Let me tell you this, and through you to the audience, our audience. It was, you remember 2022 when BrahMos was accidentally fired, so-called accident firing, and it landed up in Pakistan, and there was no way they could detect anywhere, anytime. That was also a test case to see how alert or how significant is the air defense system. Pakistan has been investing mostly in the optics, like buying some kind of JF-17s, buying, because as far as budgets are concerned, they're as such not in comparison with Indian side, but also their generals and their military top leadership has been siphoning a lot of dollars from there.
Right. So I'll come to that. I'll come to that, Air Vice Marshal. Air Marshal, a pointed question to you right now. Could this be an attempt by Pakistan right now to really engage India so that the more serious equipments can come in later? Is this, in your assessment, perhaps a diversionary tactic?
Absolutely. I don't think this is the main idea. Their idea would be, like I said, probably to probe and just see how your air defense systems are activated. It's a battle of wits when you are in the battlefield. Whether what the action that you do is it perceived in similar manner by the enemy, or is the enemy smarter and sees that this is a deception technique tactics. So I'm sure at various levels, all these deception measures that are being done, or for that matter, for the creating confusion through the disinformation, I'm sure there is a serious business behind all this. But in my opinion, Pakistan will be well advised not to take it to the next level, because if it goes to the next level, then Pakistan will certainly will have decimation at hand. Because these are very easy to handle. You send a swarm of drones, it is not very expensive. not very this thing. But once you come to the serious business of employing your air assets deep inside onto strategic targets, then things are felt by the entire hierarchy, from the government to the the military and a common man. As of now, whatever actions that have happened is just more of a nuisance tactics and just to create that panic amongst the civil populace. But I think our civil population is also smart enough to know all these diversionary tactics, and we should be vigilant and on the lookout for any serious breakout that may happen.
India's air defense preparedness, I think we've fared pretty well on that scale. Let's quickly get in Deepak Badana back into this conversation. Deepak, the unified voice is that in Pakistan is well advised not to take it forward, but you can't expect that from Pakistan. At least with the way things have quickly escalated in the last couple of hours, it does look like it's not a measured response, unlike what India did. We sat for good 15 days after Pahalgam. Let's also tell our viewers very, very categorically, we prepared a list of what India believes to be terror camps operating in Pakistan. It was a targeted precision strike on those terror camps. No civilian infrastructure, no military installation was targeted. But on the other hand, Deepak, come to think of it, what Pakistan really did seemed to be, in a hurry, unprepared, not measured, rather quickly, without preparing enough, without trying to identify what are some of these locations that they're targeting. I mean, there is no terror outfit operating in India. There are no units operating in India. So might as well, affect and target civilians, might as well target military installations, and that's exactly what they've done. I want you to take us through, all that's come out from the government since yesterday. And in a second round of briefing, Deepak, we saw the government categorically suggesting that the round of attacks that Pakistan carried out, and this was until it started attacking Jammu late last night and various other western fronts, the government made it very, very clear that the ball is now in Pakistan's court. If they escalate, they will decide to take it forward.
Well, Shweta, the stereotype about the Pakistani armed forces is that they're brilliant at tactical levels, but they're very short-sighted at the strategic level. When you look at their actions post-Pahalgam, there was no measured response. It seems that there was nothing planned and coordinated. Rather, it was impulsive action. As I said earlier, they need to save face in front of their citizenry. Coming to the attacks on Jammu, and in fact, as far as away as, say, Jaisalmer and Bhuj. So what Pakistan has done is, in an attempt to create equivalence, they've exposed their support for terrorism. Because while India has targeted exclusively almost these terror infrastructure and terror training camps in Pakistan, Pakistan has equated that with Indian military installations. Furthermore, coming to the the MEA's press briefing yesterday, Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary, actually noted it, and he was very clear and concise in what he said. He said that it is Pakistan which actually escalated. India understands the 26th April attack on Pahalgam as the escalation of violence. India has the right to resort to or take any necessary measures to counter such threats. And post that, you see waves after waves of Pakistani attacks which have failed dismally. So the Foreign Ministry has stated clearly that the role of de-escalation, the charge actually lies with the Pakistani armed forces, and the Pakistani armed forces with their Hafiz chief, Mr. Asim Munir, they find themselves caught in a bind. The fact is that they cannot afford a war. They know that they cannot win a war, but should they not fight, they will be damned. So Asim Munir has painted himself into this corner where he doesn't know what to do. And you see this diverse range of voices coming out of Pakistan in response. At one end, a spokesperson speaking to the media in Moscow talks about how, he starts saber rattling and talking about nuclear weapons and threatening not just India, but the world, because he sees that, if Pakistan will use any weapon for its defense, it doesn't care for the consequences.